Welcome back everyone to part 3 of the Tamiya Super Avante online build. In the last video we wrapped up the rear end, assembling and installing the rear shocks. We also bolted in the battery tray and low profile servo. In this video we're moving forward with the front differential, front upper plate, rocker arms, steering system, and front suspension arms. Alrighty, without further ado, let's get on with the build. Okay, let's start off with bag D. Open and separate all the parts to make them easier to identify. Build a pair of camber turnbuckles, measuring the center section to 23 millimeters. When installing the camber turnbuckles, make sure the gnarled markings on the turnbuckle shaft are toward the left-hand side of the car. Like the rear, the front gearbox uses different length cross pins in the gear shafts. Pay close attention to this during the build process. This spring allows you to easily remove the center drive shaft after the car is fully assembled. It is suggested to add a bit of rubbery cement to the end to help secure it inside the outdrive. When applying the grease, make sure you pack some in every hole. Don't be afraid to overdo it just a little. It's better to have more than not enough. Another trick I use when installing the differential balls is to pour all of them into the diff gear, then carefully move and press them into the diff holes. Compress the diff spring a couple times before installation. Don't be afraid to use the black grease. More is good here and allows you to easily pick up the thrust balls. Assembling the diff is a little tricky, but I found if I held the screw in place with one of the provided L wrenches, I could drop the spring and T-nut in place and just start tightening. trick to test the diff setting is to hold it in between some scissors and turn the gear. You want the diff tight enough so that the gear just barely turns with a good amount of force. Because the red bushings basically hide the diff adjustment screw, I marked the outdrive where the diff adjustment screw was. This should make adjustments much easier now that I know which side the screw is on. Like the rear, use a bit of the black grease on all the gears to help keep them lubricated during use. Don't worry about the interference with the left side rocker arm. Its operating movement is not hindered after the car is fully assembled. Note the direction these 730 bearings press in. The steering arms have a slight raised section on the end. This raised section faces the bearing during assembly. Tighten these screws until snug, then back off just slightly. It's important not to over-tighten. You want the entire assembly to swing freely. Build the steering links like you did the camber links, only set the inside measurement to 18.5 millimeters. Again, when attaching the turnbuckles, make sure the gnarled section on the shaft is to the left side of the car. The front end attachment on the Super Avante is quite unique. Tabs slot into holes on the chassis before securing with the M 3x8mm flathead cap screws. Before installing, apply a small amount of anti-wear grease to the drive pins on the center shaft. Here's where Tamiya gets really ingenious. Remember that spring we installed in the outdrive? Well, here's where it comes in handy. While the suspension arms are not directional, meaning you can use them on either side of the car, you will be building a left and right version. When attaching the suspension arms to the front bulkhead, pay close attention to the left and right arm locations. Great job so far. I'm sure your Super Avante is looking great. Thanks everyone for hanging out for part 3 of our Tamiya Super Avante build. If this video helped you out, please give it a like. It really helps the channel out. If you want to keep informed of future builds in this series, please subscribe to the channel and hit that bell icon. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you in the next video.